Hello from the 2025 NABShow. It's taking place in the Las Vegas Convention Center. I'm heading into the main North Hall now, where I'll find mostly radio broadcast technology, transmitters, television transmitters as well, and streaming. Some of the trends I've found here while walking around NAB 2025, definitely cloud storage and cloud workflow are coming of age, more reliable, more high-level services being offered, and more secure. So you're going to hear a lot about that in our technical reports. Equipment is moving more off-prem. That's another word you're going to hear a lot of. Off-premises, in other words, into the cloud. RCS has revealed a better Zetta. They've had cloud services for a while, but now they've expanded to a general offering of Zetta Cloud services, and you'll hear more about that as well. Prominence in cars is an important thing here in America, just as it is in Australia and Europe. Audience measurement, very interesting trend. It is shifting from 15-minute measurement or 5-minute measurement, which has generally been happening in radio over many years, to shorter measurement, 3 minutes. But the question is, should it be even shorter? Because our competitors, the online services, are measuring everything in seconds. If you look at a video for 5 seconds, you may count as one of the audience who've seen an ad. Is that fair? Should we rethink the way we express our audience measurement? There's some of the things that I've been finding in this hall of NAB. The media industry expects that President Trump's tariffs are going to affect sales in areas like cars and retail. And because prices are going up, or maybe not so many products coming into the country because they'll have to pay higher tariffs, then those businesses may not have as much money to spend on advertising. So radio broadcasters are expecting a bit of a slump in those areas, but maybe that'll be made up by local advertising. So not all negative, but certainly an immediate effect of the American tariffs. Will that affect transmission equipment? Well, maybe if it's made outside of the United States, transmitters will become more expensive. But there's a lot of American manufacturers who make transmitters, and they don't expect to have any price hike. And talking of transmission, a few of the things that I noticed, now companies are selling maintenance contracts and monitoring contracts when you buy the equipment. And this is a direct response to having less broadcast technicians available with broadcasting expertise, because a lot of people in the technical area of radio stations now come from the IT side. So the transmitter manufacturers are offering their own technicians to be able to monitor the health of the transmitter remotely, and then to be in contact with the broadcaster and say, we think you need a service, do you have someone, or would you like us to send one of our people to do the service? It might be included in the pricing of the transmitter you bought, or it might be some kind of service contract. It's a very interesting solution to the problem of less trained broadcast technicians. And a very significant development, the idea of a plug-and-play transmitter, where everything is in the transmitter housing. Normally you might have exciters and compressors and optomods and other things in your rack, and then you have the transmitter. Now there are more and more transmitters on sale which have all of that electronically inside the transmission case, saving size in the rack units, and also allowing you to just plug one blue cable into the back of it and bring your program from your studio straight to the transmitter, switch it on, and then remotely configure all elements in the chain through one monitoring configuration laptop. Something I've been raving on about for years is the inconsistency of levels and monitoring on streaming. All our outputs should be the same. AM broadcast, DAB broadcast, the stream to the apps, the stream to the website, and yet they're often not. So Stream Guys is one of the companies that's now introduced monitoring across all of its streams, and that allows you to look for program fail points and also dynamic changes to keep the streams the same wherever they're going. The use of AI is less haphazard, and suppliers are paying attention to something that I've talked about now for over a year, and that is not using open AI services, because those services learn from whatever you put in them and then use that learning to make your competitors' next AI better. The good suppliers are building AI inside their tools, their software, and they're locking it to the client. So a radio station will have its own AI, which can scan all its own material, learn from all the inputs the broadcasters are putting into it, but that learning won't be shared with competitors or anyone else on the open internet. What are some of the other trends? Voice cloning is coming of age, and also, particularly in this market, people are thinking about the ownership of your voice and your image, rights management. Rights management for music, in film has been a thing for a long time, but now it's coming to radio and podcasting, and the AI tools in some of the recording equipment are being set up to help us automate rights management and recognition of who was speaking and whose image is in the shot on social media. There's new tricks for dynamic content personalisation in radio, podcasting and streaming, and that aligns with another trend that has been talked about, that radio people are underselling themselves. In radio, we are digital as well. We know digital, we're dealing in digital, we're dealing on the digital platforms, and yet advertisers and agencies and people who talk about radio forget that we're digital, and radio people themselves don't champion that enough. AI now will allow online advertisers to make multiple versions of ads. You can make a digital ad, a square banner that will appear in your Facebook feed, in your social media feed, and then you can tell AI, make 100 versions of this, and it will do a version with a picture of an older person skewed for an older audience as they scroll, younger person for a younger scrolling audience, and multiple versions. A point for us on radio, we should be making more versions of our radio ads. It's something that we used to do and we've kind of forgotten, but it's one of the strengths of radio that can help us battle this AI trend, which is inevitable on social media. Not just one message, but multiple messages targeted at different audiences on different stations, and even different time slots within the one station. In a divided world, local radio is very strong here in America. Local stations are retaining their audiences, and they're also retaining their advertisers. That's not so much the case with some of the national networks who are facing some revenue challenges, but local radio owners have told me that because they're very anchored in the community, their advertising comes from local clients in their county, and their audience is very strong. One of the interesting things that I heard from one of the managers was that, yes, there's political division in this country and in the world at the moment, but when people are sick of that, when they're sick of listening to the big competitive, aggressive networks taking one side or the other, they return to their local radio station because there's not so much of that political talk. It's talk about the local sports team and what the kids did in school or what's happening in your town. So there's very much a point of difference between national and local media. Music media also brings entertainment and escape from that polarisation. So there's some green shoots for local media and music entertainment media to help people overcome maybe some of the angst that they're feeling when they think about what's happening in the world at the moment.